If it makes people feel better to take their frustrations out on me, that's fine. All I ask is let's not get overly political here. There's a price that's paid, and I know that there are a lot of businesses and people that are hurting right now. But the fact of the matter is, it's better to be 6 feet apart right now than 6 feet under.
That was Michigan Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer this morning with an arresting visual about social distancing. Better to be 6 feet apart than 6 feet under. Her comments were in response to protests in the state capitol on Wednesday. Shortly after Whitmer said that today, Donald Trump tweeted, just 2 words in the tweet, all caps, "Liberate Michigan." Trump issued the same tweet scream about Minnesota and Virginia. During a conference call with the White House today, Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, one of the 3 states Donald Trump called to liberate today, challenged Mike Pence about those tweets, asking why Trump was trying to incite division in the midst of a global pandemic. Of course, we all know why. All 3 states, Michigan, Minnesota, and Virginia, have Democratic governors, and all 3 states are swing states that Donald Trump hopes to win in November. And even though the protesters are clearly violating social distancing guidelines, putting themselves and others at an already overburdened healthcare system at risk, Trump is supporting them because
they seem to be protesters that like me.
Wow. There have been a series of protests popping up around the country featuring Trump flags and paraphernalia and hats. Here's video today from Orlando. Today, former Republican governor of New Jersey and former Bush 43 cabinet minister Christine Todd Whitman tweeted this: "This president is now truly getting out of control. In talking about liberating the states, he's using language that could well lead to rioting. No one has done more to undermine our Constitution and destroy our country's values than Donald Trump." Joining me now, the former Republican governor of New Jersey, Christine Todd Whitman, and Congresswoman Debbie Dingell of Michigan. She's the senior Democratic whip and a member of the House Democratic leadership. Welcome to both of you. Thank you for being with us. Governor, you were a cabinet secretary. You're governor of a state. We have spent a week in which the president has said he's the one in charge in violation of the Constitution. He's then backed down from that and told governors they're in charge. And now he is feeding this idea that people should protest. There were people who went to the Michigan State House and protested next to each other, no social distancing, involved in this whole thing. What do you think is going on here?
Well, it's all about re-election, and that's the thing that is so extraordinary. This man plays politics with every single issue, and what we're facing today is much too important. There seems to be this idea that he is promoting that governors somehow don't want to reopen their states. They like this, particularly Democrat governors. That's the furthest thing from the truth. Governors, first of all, really feel the economic impacts. In fact, many of them have a constitutional requirement to balance their budgets. They're also much closer to their constituents than those who go to Washington and never come out. They care about their people and their people's lives, and they care about their economies. They want to reopen, but they want to do it in a reasonable way. And for that, they need the help of the federal government to get the tests and get the protocols that they require to be able to understand when it's safe and who can be next to whom, and to have a president undermine his very own words when he says, social distancing, and then he encourages people to go out and tweet. And frankly, his one on Virginia about free Virginia, protect the Second Amendment. What guns have to do with the coronavirus, I have no idea.
Yeah, and I think you make a really, really, really important point here. State governments cannot print their own money, and in many cases cannot assume debt, at least for operations. So for governors, having their states shut down is a very, very expensive matter. Congresswoman, your governor gets picked on by the president almost as much as the governor of New York does. Governor Cuomo seems to be his favorite punching bag, but Gretchen Whitmer is a very close second. He seems to have a beef with her and what she's doing. But to what Governor Whitman just said, she's following federal guidelines that are outlined by Fauci and Birx and the CDC and in the president's 15 days to recovery plan, which we're passed. So what do you think is behind this, and what are you worried about?
What I'm worried about is the politics and how we've got to dial this down. I'm living in a state that's still got high death rate today. We're still, depending which day it is, it's not a contest you want to win. We're the third or fourth highest state in the country with the number of cases of COVID. Right now, we got to worry about keeping each other safe. I've been in my house. Okay, everybody knows me. I'm not exactly a stay-at-home person. I have been in my condominium for 34 days. I have not physically been near another human being, which isn't, but I'm doing it because it's what we have to do. I have had more than 20 family and friends die in the last 6 weeks. I don't want anybody else to die. And that's why she is doing this. She's not doing it to make people feel like prisoners, which, quite frankly, many of us probably do. And I think we've got to, both sides, well, we can go back to campaigning in a few weeks, but let's work together to save lives right now.